Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, hit like, share and link. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, home of the champions. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, hit like, share and link. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast, home of the champions. When I need a scoop on the league, I hit up the dream team. Go to Rams Buzz.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Golden Ram Buzz Podcast with Devon and Sal. What's up, Sal? Today our special guest will be Chris Draft. Also, this episode is sponsored by Recover Fruit Punch Drink, Recover Hydration, as well as the Brea Bakery bread. With that being said, Sal, the Rams didn't lose and the Rams didn't win. Bye week. What do you think about that?
Well, actually, we did win. We did gain some ground, with that Cardinal loss. So we gained like half a game. So that's kind of cool.
Cardinal loss, Seattle loss. But you know what's funny? A couple weeks ago, Sal, we were having our discussion. The Niners are in last place, and now we look. The Niners are in first place because the Niners beat Seattle 36-24. Mm-hmm. So as of now, the NFC West standings are this. Niners, first place, 3-3. Seattle, 3-3. Arizona, 2-4. And the Rams, last place, 1-4. Mm-hmm. With that being said, Sal, the Rams come off a bye. We have played the Raiders this Sunday. What do you think is going to happen after the bye week? Once the Rams come back the second half of the season?
Well, once you start, once the Rams start getting players back, I think the offense will start resembling like the offense that the Rams hope to field. But I'm pretty excited. I know that we're a lot better team than the Rams have fielded the first previous games. But you could see that. We weren't out of many games. The only game we pretty much lost convincingly was against the Cardinals. So I know that the Rams are going to be able to bounce back, and so we'll be fine. But once we start playing those divisional games, that's when it gets pretty exciting. And those games are going to be they're always important, but even more so this season.
In my opinion, Sal, the Rams have 5 games against the division left. 2 against Seattle, 1 against the Niners, and 1 against Arizona. So they have 4 division games left.
Yes.
They have to run the table and win the game, Sal. If they win those games, I believe those games are a must-win because you got to win those division games, Sal, to even have a chance at the playoffs. The Rams are 1-4. They already lost to Arizona. If they run the table and win those games, the Rams will make the playoffs. What are your thoughts on what I just said?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think the Rams, easiest path would be to win the division. So I'd focus on that, win that division. Along the way, the other games, it doesn't really matter what your record is as long as you're in the playoffs. That's all that matters, the Rams got off to a slow start, and those injuries really, hampered the team, set them back. But the fact that they're still in it and the fact that the other teams in the division were also losing really helped the Rams out. So although the record isn't very impressive, the Rams still have a great shot. A lot of games left, a lot of football to be played.
Exactly, 12 games to go. Last year, the Rams came back from a bye. I believe they went 7-2. They're running the table.
Yeah.
The year before that, they went 2-9 with a host of injuries. We already know about those injuries. If they go 7-2 or 8, they have to go like that route, 7-2 or better to make the playoffs. Because I think whoever wins the division is going to get in the playoffs. There's only be one team from our division that's going to make the playoffs, and it'll be the division winner, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? You think the same thing?
I think there'll be another team. I think there could possibly be 2 teams from NFC West, but You look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They're so successful because they always start off fast. They're always 4-1, 5-0, or the Rams just haven't had that luxury the past couple of seasons. But it makes a big difference when you get a quick jump in a division that that is pretty tight.
You got to keep in mind the Rams come back from a bye, playing a Raider team that just got rid of Devontae Adams. They got new ownership in Tom Brady. Part owner Tom, whatever he puts in. So they got rid of Devontae Adams. So they're going to be playing like their butts on fire. So the Rams have to be ready. That's not a gimme game.
No, that's what I was going to say. Definitely, you can't get comfortable with any of these games. The Rams have to approach every single game as a must-win.
And then also you got to keep in mind, 4 days later they play one of the best teams in the NFL, undefeated coming in. We don't know what's going to happen this week, but they play the Vikings coming into town. Yeah. Either or they're going to lose one, be either 6-0 or 5-1. But the Rams have to be prepared for that. So 2 games, 4 days apart. Sal, Well, here we go. Is Pooper
it's gonna
coming
get-
back?
yeah,
Is
it's
Cooper
gonna get
Cup coming
interesting,
back?
yeah.
Like, what's going on? I mean, hopefully you saw Stafford on Fox Channel 11.
Yeah.
He talked about the injuries. He said, we get our guys back. I want them to be full throttle when they play the teams the rest of the year, because I think if we're full throttle, watch out what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just like Coach McVay said, you just don't want them, to be back. You want them to be performance ready. Cooper Cup, the standards are so high. You just don't want Cooper Cup to be back. You want him to be back, and be able to dominate, be healthy and be able to be that player again. So, but it's going to get interesting. I think the Rams will start, running the ball and little by little start, opening up that offense. And as you start getting the offensive linemen back, and it'll look a little bit different. But I still know that the Rams defense, they've been getting a lot of penetration. They've been in the backfield of the opposing teams like almost every game. So little by little, they're getting closer and closer. They're going to have one game where they're just going to go off and be able to probably have 4 or 5 sacks, and they'll start becoming dominant as the season, plays on.
Now, we know Devontae Adams left the Raiders to go to. We know who their quarterback is, the
Yeah.
Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know who the Raiders quarterback is. I don't know if it's Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, it's O'Connell. I believe that they went back to O'Connell again.
Last week he didn't have the best game. So, hopefully the Raiders.
When
the
it
Rams,
seems struggling, but that's what I'm saying. That's why the Rams have an opportunity to jump on them quick. And like I said, with youthful, edge rushers like the Rams have, they're able to get, penetration. So I think that same thing with the Vikings. You can, if you get in the backfield, any quarterback, you put pressure on any quarterback, it's going to be difficult.
During the bye, there's no stress on us. I'm gonna go through a couple games and scores. Tell me what you think. The Ravens and Commanders. That was a great game. You had Lamar Jackson versus up and coming Jaden Daniels. What did you think about that? The game was pretty close, man.
Yeah, it was. It was impressive. Daniels is a real deal. But it doesn't surprise you when you read about him. Being the first. The first that. Watching game film, getting all his work in. You got to put in the work, and when you put in the work, and have talent, he's going to be unstoppable. But it's nice to see young quarterbacks like that, not just being, satisfied with being in the NFL. They're coming in for, to be great. So I like that.
Remember when the Ravens were 0-2? Do you know what place they're in now, Sal? The Ravens start off the season 0-2. They're in first place in their division now.
Yes.
You got the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers.
Yes.
The Ravens are in first place right now after
Well,
starting.
and remember when the Saints were on fire, right? Their offense, they were scoring all kinds of points. That's why I said it's a long season. I don't, it's interesting, but there's going to be a lot of changes.
Speaking of the Saints, they lost to the Bucs 51-27. The Saints replaced Derek Carr with Spencer Rattler. Halftime it was okay, it was good, but then the Buccaneers blew them out the water. 51-27. Our ex-quarterback Baker Mayfield. The Bucs are in first place. I bet my friend DeMar J is happy about that. What do you think about that game, Sal?
I've always been a big Baker Mayfield fan. I was hoping the Rams would have found a way to retain him, but the money issue was, and plus he wanted to start. But I'm happy for him. He has that it factor, so he elevates all the players around him. So I'm not surprised that they're playing so well.
And the game I enjoyed. This is a game too. The Packers. Anytime the Packers beat somebody in our division, I'm happy. They destroyed the Cardinals 34-13. Jordan Love looked like he's back. They beat the Rams. They beat the Packers. What do you think is going on with Jordan? That's a hard division, Sal. The Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings. They're going to be fun.
Yes. Well, what's crazy is everyone's talking about the Lions, the Packers, but Minnesota is on top of that division. They're not really getting much love right now, but that is the toughest division, I think, in the NFL right now. The way they're playing, everyone's competitive. They all have winning records.
The Lions destroy the Cowboys 47-9. Did you see what the Lions were clowning the Cowboys? Because last year, remember that they had like a legal offensive play going on and they lost by like a point or two. So they should okay, we ain't gonna leave no stone unturned. They destroyed themselves. They were beating them so bad. They had offensive linemen as wide receivers, offensive linemen on flea flickers. Jerry Jones is mad.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys the Cowboys gave up 40 points to the Saints. Yeah. Cowboys gave up 40 points to the Lions, and they lost like 4 straight home games after winning straight 13 last year.
They were dominant, but me personally, I'm old school, and I liked when the Rams, when they were coached by Dick Vermeil, where when you have a team beat, you don't need to rub it in. And I thought the Lions kind of took it personal, and they were really kind of running up the score, doing everything they could, But that was a big game for the Lions, but to lose, Aiden Hutchinson, that's a big loss.
Yeah, you see that for the year. His
Oh,
footer, that was terrible.
I mean,
because-
they're saying, "Oh, he could possibly be back for the Super Bowl." He's not coming.
Yeah,
back.
don't say that. Only one person's ever come back from Super Bowl to broke it. Terrell Davis. I remember Terrell Owens, my bad, for Philadelphia against.
But you saw his ankle.
Yeah,
I mean, it was pretty.
What do you
gruesome.
think? Is it the turf or is it just a gruesome? Is it just a fluke injury?
I just think it was just just football. Yeah, but I mean, when that type of loss, it's tough to replace a guy like him. And he was on fire. He was dominating the NFL this year.
They killed the Cowboys. I mean, I know Ezekiel's back. I don't think they have a running game. They only have like one receiver, CeeDee Lamb. I was like, what the heck is going on, dude?
Did you see Jerry Jones?
Yeah, on the radio. He went out. He's on fire. He's on fire.
Yeah,
man.
Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, you wanted it. You put yourself out there. You got to take the good and the bad, because if you're winning, you love it. But if you're losing, you can't.
But threatening to take someone's job.
Come
That's
on,
kind
man.
of
Just
weak.
speaking of having an opinion.
I mean, everybody struggles, but Jerry Jones is funny because he's always there when they're winning, but when you're losing, it's tough. Every franchise goes through it, some more than others, but you always got to rise above and be better than that. But to threaten, a guy that's doing his job, he's asking those questions.
Yeah.
But many fans said that also, that the Cowboys didn't do much in the offseason to really improve the team. I mean, they brought back Ezekiel Elliott and he changed his number, but that's
can't change that age.
No, everyone still knows who he is. Yeah, and he's still the same guy. That's not getting it done.
And it's crazy because you got to remember, when you're a team like that, the Cowboys, Yankees, Lakers, there's certain teams you're going to get scrutinized, whatever you do.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't win a title or you ain't been in the playoffs forever, the Cowboys, and you're a $1 billion franchise, your number one franchise in the NFL, the name, money wise, you're going to be scrutinized. You're the Cowboys. You're on every channel, NBC, CBS, nighttime, date. You're on every major channel. You're the Cowboys, so you got to take the good and the bad. So for Jerry Jones to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna fire you for," no, you put yourself out there like that. The Yankees put themselves out there. The Lakers do that. So that's what you want.
And you know what else is crazy? Also, is like, you look at a lot of the players' contracts, right? With like CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys were going back and forth. You had Dak Prescott going back and forth. And then in the end, you end up paying them the money. Why do you just give them the money in the first place?
And there's one person that's coming up this year, Michael Parsons.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do with
I think
that?
he's seen enough of that.
What
I think he's seen enough. He
What
probably wants to move on. I mean, if the Cowboys don't get it together.
Now, these next two games correlate with each other. I'm going to start off with the Steelers and the Raiders. The Steelers seem like a Steelers home game to me, Sal, in Vegas. Steelers fans took over. Yeah. They win. They demolished the Raiders 32-13. It looked like it was 99.9% Steeler fans
Isn't
in
that
Vegas.
crazy? Yeah.
Well, Steelers travel. I mean, come on. Would you rather be in Pittsburgh in the cold weather or Vegas? People have never been to Vegas are having fun. They're beating the Raiders because that's like anybody who plays at Vegas, it's a home game. I know you're playing the Raiders. It's a home game because people want to come to Vegas. People want to come to L.A. But to have the Steelers just take over, it's like, were they playing their theme song too, the Renegade song? Because
But, it is crazy when you look at the Raiders have never really had to experience that. Usually home field advantage was home field advantage. So
yeah. And then this game, the Bills and the Jets, Monday night, the Bills beat the Jets 23-20. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers threw an interception, and he said the guy ran the route. Earlier today, they get Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So do you think with Devontae Adams added to the team, does he think the Jets make the playoffs this year? Or
no, I think it it moves the meter a little bit, but I still think they have more problems than that.
And then they're gonna Devontae and Aaron Rodgers have this chemistry like no other, but they're playing for a new team and they got to get everything down. You're not going to get it down in a week, to me, you know what I'm saying? But they have time. They know it now because they're 2-4, but two of those losses are close. Like the Rams have close losses, but the Bills are first place 4-2. The Bills are going to win the division, but the hype,
Bills are playing some good
because now
football.
you're in New York, you have Devontae's going to save us. Devontae's going to save us, but he left the Raiders like, I'm done with this mess because
well, it's so funny. And then Roger says that Williams ran the wrong route, and then as soon as they traded for Devontae, now they're saying that Williams is on the trading block.
Yeah, and they just picked him up.
Football,
too.
NFL stands for not for long, right?
It's not for long. This is a business.
You
It's a
gotta be on point,
performance-based business. Robert Saleh didn't perform. After 5 games, you're fired. There's certain. The Jaguars have only won 1 game. Will they be fired? NFL, we all know you got to perform. You got to win. General managers, owners. They fire you like it's no big deal. Woody Johnson, New York. got Aaron Rodgers. Now you need to sell tickets. You need to win some games because people in New York are going to get on you. The radio stations and there's no. They have a general manager.
You're in a big market like that.
Yeah, you're in a big market.
You got to expect that.
And you got the Giants next door too. So this and that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, man. And it's just hopefully we'll see what they can do because you know who the Rams play later on in the year.
Oh yeah.
They play the Jets in New York.
In New York, yeah.
Last year they played the Giants, I believe, in New York too, and it was a close game. So yeah. With that being said, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Coming up, our next guest will be Chris Draft, who played 12 years in the NFL. Can't wait to interview him to see what he has to say. I remember first hearing about him when he played for Valencia High School, local high school.
Yeah, I remember reading that. Yeah,
and
I was really into
so
high school football.
I can't wait to bring him in the next segment and just talk to him and see what he has to say. So, commercial break, and we'll come back with Chris Draft.
Yeah, awesome.
Shout out to our sponsor, podcast sponsor, La Brea Bakery Bread. Take and bake with La Brea Bakery Bread. You can find La Brea Bakery Bread at all your retail stores, grocery stores, local grocery stores. You know grocery stores you guys shop at. This right here is a torta roll. I can do a lot with this torta roll. You know what I'm going to do with this torta roll? Come to Tailgate and see what I do with this torta roll. I'll make a carne asada torta. Big shout out to La Brea Bakery Bread. Take and bake with La Brea Bakery Bread. Whose house? Rams house. Woo! Joining us now, our guest was an All-American running back at Valencia High School in Orange County, California. He got recruited to Stanford University, where he played all 4 years, including a senior captain and all Pac-10 performer. He was drafted in 1998 for the Chicago Bears. He played for the Bears, Niners, Falcons, Panthers, Rams, Bills, and Redskins. He is a founder and president and CEO of the Chris Draft Family Foundation, the co-founder of Team Draft. He was an NFL Spirit Award winner in 2006 for the Carolina Panthers and 2008 for your St. Louis Rams. Ladies and gentlemen, join us now, Chris Draft.
Yeah. There you go, Chris.
Thank you for joining us, Chris. How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, doing great.
Good, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on our show. Thanks for joining us, man. It's a pleasure to have you on here. Tell us about what you've been up to. I know you played for you played 12 years in the NFL. Obviously, you played for our favorite team, the Rams. Tell us what you're doing now. Tell us about the White Ribbon Project, and tell us about that, please. What that entails.
Well, first let me say I grew up in Anaheim. I mean, I have to say that I had the amazing opportunity of playing with the Rams when they were in St. Louis, but I grew up in Anaheim, and so the Rams were in Anaheim. When I was growing up, so that blue and gold. I know you know about my high school, Valencia High School, was blue and gold, but I was blue and gold at Rio Vista Elementary, blue and gold at Kramer Junior High, blue and gold at VHS, and so it just seemed natural that I would play with the Rams, and then was blessed to be able to do that in St. Louis. And so I say I was excited. I know it was a difficult kind of situation with the team staying in St. Louis or come back to LA. But when it came back to LA, man, I was excited because that meant that if I wanted to do work with the Rams, that work would then translate into serving a community I grew up in. Serving this Southern California community, that I could come home and do some things, but nothing like when you have your home team, really in that area. And so I'll say, what have I been up to? And a lot of it is lung cancer work. Why is that? My wife, Keasha, got diagnosed with lung cancer right when I got done playing in NFL, December of 2010. Had a little shortness of breath, out of nowhere. This little shortness of breath went into a primary care doc. Didn't ignore it. Didn't say no. It'll go away. Went to a primary care doc. He ordered a chest X-ray, gave her some antibiotics, and it came back that she had a mass in her left lung. And so, 37 years old, in amazing shape, no history of smoking, and bam. We find out she has lung cancer 2 days after Christmas, where we confirmed that it was lung cancer. They found a mass, came back, biopsy, confirmed it. And then, a few days later, we got a PET scan and confirmed that it was stage 4 lung cancer. And so two most important facts about lung cancer: anyone can get it, and too often it's diagnosed late stage, right? And that's what we have to be able to deal with. is being able. That's why this month has been crucial catch, and that crucial catch is critical. That if we're able to find things early, it can be a game changer in terms of living, right? And the quality of life that you have. And so that's been my work. That work of really educating people, letting people know that anyone can get it, making sure people who have a smoking history, we're not blaming them, knowing that in 1998 the cigarette industry was indicted for over $200 billion. If somebody is smoking, people went after them. We proved it, right? If they stopped, oh my goodness, what an amazing accomplishment. And then there's a group of people that don't have a smoking history that can get it, and we need to love on them and make sure that we fight for them to be survivors and not just fans.
Yeah, and the White Women Project is every day of life. It's not just a month of October. It's every day people have lung cancer, go through stuff like that, cancer, lung cancer. It's not just a month, it's a day. It's it's every day of life, 365 days a year for years. People go through a struggle, and I see what you're doing, the White Women Project. And do you go to all the NFL teams during this month, or how does it work to educate people on this?
I'll go to a number of them, but the reality is with Crucial Catch that the NFL and American Cancer Society and their local partners are educating people. So the big thing for me is just making sure of letting people know, hey, look, we got people on the ground that are getting it done, right? So I'll be at certain places, like I was at the Rams game last week, and we were able to lift up a couple of lung cancer survivors. One of them that we picked, Keasha Alford, and another one that was picked by the American Cancer Society. And really to see them and see them alive and enjoying this game, it says good things are happening, that there's hope. Because if they're not doing well, you just can't be in a big old stadium. As amazing as that is, that's a difficult thing to negotiate if you're not feeling well. So when you see people down there and enjoying it, it says that something good has happened. And that's what I'm about to say, that, hey, we don't have to like the circumstance. Lung cancer does kill more people than any other cancer. It's terrible in that way, but we can focus on just the bad, right? Or we can allow that bad to challenge us to go get it and go chip away at, again, extending people's lives and transforming their quality of life.
And what you mentioned earlier, your wife was healthy. So people think, oh, lung cancer, you have to smoke cigarettes or drink or something like that. Somebody could be completely healthy and get lung cancer. So what do you advise them to do? Like, do you have to get like checks on yourself or once a month to go to see your doctor? How does it work to see if you even have lung cancer?
So it definitely can happen to anyone, but the best thing, I'll say there's two sides of it. If you do have a smoking history, there is lung cancer screening, which, if you're eligible, you can, 50 to 80 with a smoking history, you have a chance to do lung cancer screening. So that gives you, so you just have to be willing to commit to that to go after. Now, if you don't have a smoking history, then the real key is about the awareness of your body, awareness of yourself. And so my wife being in amazing shape, that's still the best thing that you can do, right? Because what it just says is we can't get rid of, all of the possibility, but we can reduce our risk, dramatically by working out, by eating well, by, again, doing our regular checkups and, really lowering our stress levels. So those things are winning really regardless if it's lung cancer, any disease. But the key is that you can still get it, right? So I want people to know anyone can get it. But if you do those healthy options, it will reduce your risk dramatically. And then the other part is if there's something going on, don't ignore it. Yes. Be willing to go in and get it checked out.
That's the key to everything, because some people get sick and, oh, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just something in the back of, that little thing can turn into an avalanche of something big. So people get yourself checked out, no matter what it is, small, big, get yourself checked out to stop the risk later on in life and, get your body checked out. Now, you're the founder, president, and CEO of the Chris Draft Family Foundation, as well as Draft. Is there a difference between those two, or?
Well, the difference is that the Chris Draft Family Foundation was started in 2006, and then Team Draft was created with my wife basically on our wedding day.
Okay.
Our wedding day, November 27th, 2011. She came to me before our wedding and she said, what if we don't get presents? What if we ask our family and friends to fight for the lung cancer community? And so Team Draft as an initiative is really a commitment to the lung cancer community. So again, started between both of us. It really is my wife's commitment, right?
Yeah.
To saying, I've been fighting for myself. It's time for us to be able to fight for others. And recognizing that that's going to take a team. So a lot of times people are like, "Oh, you're honoring your wife," and I'm saying, "Well, not so much, in terms of the way you're saying it as honoring her, but really honoring what the commitment is." And the commitment is recognizing that we have to build a team. We have to build a community that is bigger than any one person, right? My wife wasn't feeling well at that time. And so she's not building it based on her being able to be there all the time, because she recognizes, so much like with football, if you put together a roster and you don't acknowledge that people can get hurt, right?
Yeah, true. Everybody gets
If you're
hurt.
not planning for that fact, then you're going to struggle. Because you have to know that when you engage in a very physical and violent game, that people are going to get hurt. And so that's basically the same thing of cancer. Is this a very physical and violent disease that challenges us to make sure that we continue to grow our team and not put too much on any one person, right? So honoring my wife is identifying other survivors, identifying other advocates, finding advocates that are in our medical communities, from our thoracic surgeons, medical oncologists, radiation oncologists, primary care docs, social workers, public health, that all of these people have to come together. This is not just the survivors over here or just some caregivers over there or just the physicians over there. Is that we have to be connected and on the same page to be able to get this done. And so to honor my wife is to build a strong team. To honor my wife is to acknowledge that one person can't get it done. One organization can't get it done. Nobody can do it by themselves. It requires a team to get it done.
Now, recently I saw you in Carolina, I believe, where 23-year-old former football player passed away. Did that just happen recently? I believe.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's a football player.
It just happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
On Saturday. So Tylee Kraft, he passed away. And amazing young man. I actually got a chance to meet him right after he was diagnosed. And UNC did a tremendous job of really acknowledging that cancer impacts the whole family. And so they actually connected him and his mom with a local group that had gas cards, right, to kind of help with the transportation, because his mom was driving 3 hours from Sumter, South Carolina, up to UNC. And your baby just got diagnosed, so you're going to be burning up that road, still working, and just helps with that, these costs. The other thing is that it is tremendous place called the SICU, but it's like a Ronald McDonald House where they were able to stay and, again, not have to pay for hotels all over. So this tremendous community that rallied around him. And then because he was able to get his treatment, because UNC is committed to lung cancer research, he was able to get his treatment at the hospital that literally is right behind the football stadium. And the football facility locker room is at the stadium.
Okay.
And so that meant he was able to go to school. He graduated, had the honor of being at his graduation, just graduated, just this past year.
Wow.
He was able to be around his teammates. So that's why, this past week was so big, that they were able to see what he was going through, because he was able to be there consistently. And they went on that roller coaster ride with him, and they were able to say goodbye. I went up to North Carolina on Wednesday, and a lot of his teammates were able to come over to the hospital, and then they were able to honor him and his family on Saturday. And one of his teammates actually wore his jersey and caught a touchdown pass, which was just absolutely amazing. And so I would say it's a reminder that, again, it's an amazing young man. But it's a reminder of how important team is. And not everybody has it, but that you have people around you that are, fighting for you so that you can have the best quality of life. But also why it has to be urgent, right? This is why we fight. When somebody asks me, what is this? This is why we fight. Is that my guy? I mean, who has a beautiful girlfriend. I mean, that they were, they're taking trips together. They're doing things together. I mean, they're trying, want to have a life together. That's why we fight. So his mom has a chance to see him grow up and his brothers, his family, all right? That's why we fight. And so I'm constantly, breathing this urgency. That's why you see me all over the place. This urgency has to be not just in Chapel Hill. It has to be in LA, San Francisco, Chicago, all over New York. This urgency, this energy that says that we can be better. And are we doing everything we can? Right? We're going to lose some people, but are we doing everything that we can?
Also, let the people know where they can find your website, your Instagram, your social handle. Please let everybody know what they could do for the White Ribbon Project.
Yeah, so they definitely can follow me on IG Chris.draft. I mean, Twitter, X at Chris Draft. Definitely look at the work. Definitely work with Chris Draft Family Foundation, Team Draft. But really, that work was about a setup of finding leaders. So the real work is about the community of the White Ribbon Project. That's where you see more of the people. And that's so challenge you guys to be able to see that. If you guys have a connection with lung cancer, we have a ribbon for you, right? One of these ribbons.
Yes.
If you can see it, I think I'm going in and out.
I see it. Lung cancer, the White Ribbon. We see it. Lung cancer awareness, the White Ribbon Project. Yes.
There it is. So we have a ribbon for you. I mean, the ribbons are not scarce. We want to make sure people, if they have lung cancer, that they know that they are not alone. You got to know that that there is hope.
Yes.
Right. That we see you. Right. And so if you have it, if you know somebody, you're connected with somebody, we have some ribbons for you. And somebody might say, "Do you have that many?" So, well, I have a few right with me, but all we have to do is make some more. And the opportunity of being able to make more is an opportunity to engage our communities and build together. When we make ribbons, we call it a build, right? And so we're building these ribbons, but what we're really doing is by engaging in this team building project, we are building community as we are infusing love in these ribbons.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Thank you for educating us on the White Ribbon Project. I appreciate what you do. I follow you all the time. I'm definitely going to educate more people about this, have people go to your page. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Draft, the founder, president, CEO of the Chris Draft Family Foundation, co-founder of Team Draft, White Ribbon Project. Thank you for being our guest, Chris Draft.
Man, appreciate you guys. Go Rams.
There you go. Go Rams. That's right.
What a great interview, Sal, with Chris Draft, man. That was amazing to know about the White Ribbon Project, to get educated on that. And thank you so much, Chris Draft, man, to see what he's gone through and see what he's educating people on. And like you said, anybody can get lung cancer. You don't have to be a smoker. You don't have to be a drinker. You could be a healthy individual, Sal, and still get lung cancer.
Well, when you do a little research on your own, you see how common it is. It's pretty scary. I didn't realize it was that common. But like I said, after following him, and I kind of did some research, and it's amazing how many people are being diagnosed with that. So, health is everything.
Yeah, and he's highly educated. He went to Valencia High School. I remember first hearing about him in high school. He's a year older than me.
I remember reading about him.
And then he went to Stanford. Bill Walsh personally went to Valencia High School to recruit him. Bill Walsh, Hall of Famer of the Niners. Because remember, Bill Walsh was the coach of Stanford, recruited him, Sal, to go to Stanford.
It paid off, though, didn't it?
And then he played for those different teams. But 12-year career, and look what he's doing now, giving back to the community, educating people on the White Ribbon Project. This is amazing, man.
It's like nonstop. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he said he's a linebacker all the time. Every when he walks in, he's a linebacker, smart, educated, linebacker, but it's just educated.
That passion's still there. That fire's still there.
Thank you, Chris Draft. I feel like he's going to tackle me. I'm like, thank God he's over there. Like, come on, like, oh man, we're not. I love Chris Draft. I know his brother really well. Big shout out to his brother Tony and the whole Draft family.
The fire was there.
His nephews.
That's amazing.
He has two nephews as well.
Any passion, it's awesome when someone is so committed and passionate about, the cause. It's beautiful.
Well, Sal, that was a great interview. Now we got to talk about this weekend's games. I highlighted a couple weekend's games coming up.
Okay.
We'll do the Rams Raider game last, and
Well, you got something to say on that?
I got something to say for that, Sal. You may want to not be here for that. You better walk out the door. Just kidding. Okay, let's go through the game, Sal. Now, Seattle and Falcons. I'm going for the Falcons. They're playing good. Kirk Cousins. I mean, you know what's funny? They said Kirk Cousins teams that he's played for all in playoff contention. Falcons, Commanders. And I believe, who else did he play for? Washington, Commanders, Falcons. Who did he play for that? Oh, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
They're all in the first place in their division or close to it. What do you think about that Seattle Falcons game, Sal?
It's gonna be a good game, but I'm going for of course, yeah.
We have to go for the Falcons.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I would. Seattle is they got a great team, but of course, I'm going for. I got to go for my division. So
a rematch of 2 Super Bowl victories won by the Chiefs. They play the Niners in San Francisco. Let's go Chiefs! Obviously, I'm hoping the Chiefs win. I need the Chiefs to win.
That's another one, yeah.
Because if the Chiefs win in Seattle and then Falcons beat Seattle and the Rams win, the Rams are first place.
That division, boy, it's going to be really cluttered, huh?
Yeah.
With divisions with records that are very, very similar in that division.
See, what I'm emphasizing this week is certain games in our division. So we got here's another game. We got the Chargers and the Cards. So we're going for the Chargers. Yeah. That's going to be I think that's going to be a high scoring game. I think it'll be high scoring. Obviously, they're playing in Arizona, but you don't know to expect. Hopefully, I want all of our teams to lose. I need all of our teams to lose.
Yeah, we need help, and we also got to take care of business on our own. But any type of help like that is definitely welcome. So I'm excited about that.
We got a couple games I'm gonna highlight before we get to the Rams Raiders. We got the Ravens and the Bucks. Ooh, I got the Ravens. I think the Ravens are gonna win that division. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They look like MVP candidates with each other, man. Like Derrick Henry is killing it. The Ravens and the Bucks. What's your thoughts on that?
That's going to be a close game. It's going to be a high-scoring game, though.
Yeah.
It'll be a high-scoring game, but I think, I would have to go with the Ravens.
The Lions against the Vikings. So I don't know who to go for in this game because I kind of want the Rams to beat the Vikings for the first Vikings.
Yeah, I would like the Rams to be the first one to
But this division's amazing. You got the Lions, Vikings, Green Bay, and Chicago all in the same, 1 or 2 games behind each other. Yeah. And it's crazy, Sal. Chicago seems to have new life after beating the Rams because everybody thought they were going to lose to the Rams. You see how good they're playing all of a sudden? See how one game can change the perspective of things? All of a sudden, Caleb Williams is throwing well and doing well, and that division is hot. Who do you got, Lions and Vikings?
I'm going to go with the Vikings. Yeah. I think the Vikings will win that game. But, it's interesting. Look at the Lions. They're setting all kinds of records, offensive records, I mean, Goff is playing really, really well.
And then, of course, we got the Raiders coming into town versus the Rams.
Now this is a game that matters.
Before I go on my rant, I'll let you talk, Sal. Take your time because I have a lot to say about the Raider-Ram game. Take your time, Sal. No rush at all.
So Raiders-Rams at SoFi, I mean, we've had some nice endings, right? The past couple of Ram-Raider games. It's always a, battle of LA, even though, the Raiders have a lot of fans, but longtime Ram fans know that LA was really run by the Rams.
Repeat that again.
LA was run by the Rams. Okay. But these newer fans and fans that weren't really loyal to the Rams, when the Rams moved to Anaheim, became Raider fans. The Raiders moved down from Oakland, won a Super Bowl really quick, so those longtime Ram fans said, well, they're really LA, so they became Raider fans. And then you had NWA. That was a big part of building that fan base. So for me, I love the passionate Raider fans, but nothing better to start off a winning streak after a victory over the Raiders.
Because I believe we beat them on Thursday night with Baker Mayfield only played he was only here for 2 days, and then we beat them a couple years ago in Oakland when Marcus Peterson did that play.
Yes.
And then we beat them 52-0, I recall, one of the best games ever, 52-0. So, all this Raider talk, Raider fans. Let me ask you a question, Raider fans. The last 40 years, what have you guys done relevant to the NFL? I'm going to show you what they've done, Sal.
Now, this is 40 years?
40 years they haven't won a Super Bowl, Sal. Okay. Now, my bad, Raider fans. Let's do 50, 60 years. You did help create 2 dynasties. The Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty when the Immaculate Reception against the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And then Tom Brady, the fumble, not fumble call, helped create the New England Patriots dynasty, right?
Yes.
And Sal, today it just got announced. Who's part owner of the Raiders today, Sal? Who is it?
Who? So he went full circle. Tom Brady.
So he went full circle to the Raiders. He beat them, helped get a dynasty. So think about it. New England has 6 Super Bowls. Pittsburgh has how many? 6? 4? Okay, in the 70s, they're a dynasty.
Pittsburgh has 6.
So the Raiders are responsible. You're right, Raider fans. My apologies. You are responsible for 10 Super Bowls, but not your own. 40 years ago, Sal, Jesse Jackson was running for president. Mayor Tom Bradley. The Olympics were here.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
And then it's been 40 years. The Raiders still are irrelevant. How do you spell the word irrelevant? RAIDERS. You guys just take over stadiums. You guys say that a lot. And you guys take over our tailgate. But what have you done relevant in 40 years? Sal Martinez, I'm not going to tell your age, but 40 years ago, what kind of car did you have?
Boy.
Were you in your 20s? You don't have to tell me your age, Sal. Were you in your 20s, teens? You look like you're in your 20s now. Yeah. 40 years ago.
I was enjoying it. Yeah, I was enjoying those. Yeah.
Sal, there's people out there that have never seen a Raiders Super Bowl. The teams are in black and white. The Raiders, to me, are like, what do you call that car that Henry Ford created? The classic car he created, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's the first one Ford, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But there's 100 different cars on the road since then. That's how the Raiders are. The Raiders, we won. The first one in L.A. Yes, you won the first Super Bowl for L.A. when you were in L.A. Mm-hmm. Like Henry Ford created the first Ford car. Mm-hmm. But now we have Teslas, we have Chevys, we have Lamborghinis. Everything, the Raiders are getting bypassed, you know what I'm saying? And I always say, what have they done in 40 years? They can never answer my question, Sal. Mm-hmm. I've asked and asked, keep on asking. Now I'm asking you, Raider fans, answer in the comment section, what have you done since 1984? Oh, you helped Tampa Bay win their Super Bowl, Sal, because remember John Gruden went to Tampa Bay and then the coach never changed the plays.
Yeah.
What kind of organization would do that, Sal? You play in the Super Bowl, but you don't change your playbook, and John Gruden, who's coaching Tampa Bay, knows all your plays.
Oh, yeah, but the Raiders, that was in San Diego, right?
Yes, oh, yes. And the Raider fans are going to come at me. I'm in Pink Lot J, Raider fans. This Sunday, 8 a.m. to 12:30, Pink Lot J. Look for the balloons. Yes, you're going to take over our tailgate. Yes, you're going to take over our stadium. But are you going to win Super Bowls? As a matter of fact, as I recall, KC won Super Bowl last year. Where at, Sal?
Oh, yeah, that was in Las Vegas.
In Vegas. The Chiefs that win your division all the time celebrated the Super Bowl in your house.
See, and so Damon, that was one of the things that we were able to prevent, right?
Oh,
and
yes.
I think that I think the NFL should maybe create a trophy for fan bases that take over stadiums.
Yes.
Because the ones that have been taking over stadiums haven't won anything in years, right?
Raider fans, every team takes over your stadium. Denver Broncos, it could be Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what they should do? They should just have modern day play St. John Bosco in Vegas and call that. Because every time a team comes in the Raiders, doesn't matter what they are, they took over stadium because everybody wants to come to Vegas. But I thought the house always wins in Vegas. How come the Raiders never win in Vegas, Sal? The Raiders never win in Vegas. Mm-hmm. So the Raider fans are going to come at me. Hey, you cut this, Angel. You make sure you put that on there, what I said about the Raiders. They are irrelevant. And how do you spell it? RAIDERS. You ain't gonna win no games, baby. You guys are done. With that being said, another episode of Golden Ram Buzz Podcast with Damon and Sal. Yeah. Big shout out to our sponsor, Recover, the Brea Bakery Bread, and our guest, Chris Draft. Yeah, see you, Raider fans. You guys are terrible. Whose house? Rams' house. Whose house? Rams' house. Whose house? Rams' house.
And there you have it.
Golden Rams Buzz Podcast. Golden Rams Barbershop. Okay, Golden Rams Buzz Podcast. Home of the champions. Golden Rams Barbershop. Golden Rams Buzz.